Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to see if the highest paid NHL players can go on and win a Stanley Cup in NHL 23. Yes, the highest paid players. Some of them are loved and some of them are hated. We have the greatest NHL players in the world on this team like Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Darnell Nurse. Hey yo, Darnell Nurse. Regardless, we do have a lot of good players on this team and we're going to see if they are overpaid, because on their own teams, these guys are meant to lead their teams to Stanley Cups. But if you team them up all together, they should win a Stanley Cup, right? So either two things are going to happen here. Either they're going to be very good and win multiple Stanley Cups, and if that is the case, we are going to simulate 5 years to see how many Stanley Cups they can win. Or if they are struggling and not winning a Stanley Cup past year number 5, we are going to simulate until they win one. I could be here all day, who knows? So right now we are going to be controlling North Bay as they are the highest paid NHL players. I don't know why I picked North Bay. I wanted NHL, but I guess you can't use NHL. Regardless, it does not matter. It is time to check out the roster here in NHL 23. So basically what I've done is I went through the highest paid NHL players list. It was like a top 25 or something like that. And then I stopped at like 14 forwards, I believe, and finished the rest with defensemen. So on the first line, we have Breadman, Connor McDavid, and David Pastrnak. On the second line, Matthew Tkachuk, Nathan MacKinnon, and Johnny Hockey. On the third line, we have Alexander Barkov, Austin Matthews, and Mark Stone. And on the fourth line, Anze Kopitar, Jack Eichel, and Jamie Benn. Now we do have two extra forwards here. So we have John Tavares and Tyler Seguin. They are both scratched at the moment, and for good reason, as they are really overpaid in real life. So defensively, we have Zach Werenski and Adam Fox, Charlie McAvoy and Erik Karlsson, Seth Jones and Drew Doughty. And for goalies, we are going to have the best goalie in the game, Andrei Vasilevsky, and Sergei Bobrovsky as our backup. Yes, Bob is very overpaid, $10 million, still has 4 years left on his deal. So now that we know the roster, we are going to go ahead and simulate to see if they can win a Stanley Cup in NHL 23. They have up to 5 years if they win multiple Stanley Cups, and if they don't, we are going to go until they win one Stanley Cup, baby. Also, here is a look at the jerseys, boys. The North Bay money bags. Obviously, we have Connor McDavid here. He is the captain of the team. Why wouldn't he be? Let me know in the comments how good these jerseys are. 1 to 10. Rate them, boys. So, at the end of year number 1, the North Bay highest paid are going to end up finishing first in the Central as they go 71-8-3. Okay, this is going to be a very good team. Obviously, they're going to be the best team in the entire NHL. It was not even close. Second place will be Boston, then New York, Pittsburgh was up there, Tampa Bay, and Edmonton. But I mean, the highest paid NHL players are going to go 71-8-3. That is crazy. 145 points. Damn near 4.5 goals per game. That is crazy. Connor McDavid is going to lead his team in goals with 57 and points with 135. He is the best player in the world. I'm not surprised. Followed by Pasta, who had 91. Matthews was up there at 85. Breadman had 85. McKinnon 78. Tkachuk was up there. Barkov 66. Johnny Hockey. Adam Fox had a decent season. Mark Stone, Drew Doughty, Charlie McAvoy, and Jack Eichel. For goals on our team, nobody was even close to McDavid. I mean, he had 57 goals. Pasta would have 42. Matthews had 41, so a good season by him. McKinnon 28. It is a big drop off after that. 27. Goodrow had 26. Tkachuk 25. Andrei Vasilevsky is going to start 70 games, going 59-8-2. 10 shutouts, a 921 save percentage, and a 201 GAA. I mean, he's definitely winning the Vezina, right? 59 wins and 10 shutouts, not to mention very good stats. What did Bob do as a backup? Bob was not bad. 2 shutouts in only 14 games and 927 save percentage, so he was good as well. Obviously, McDavid is going to lead the entire NHL in goals with 57 and points with 135, followed by Brad Marchand's 104. The other McDavid had 99, Pasta 98, Ovi 97. The other Pastrnak was up there, Leon Draisaitl, Braden Point, Mika Zibanejad, Patrick Kane was up there, Cooch was up there. Now for goals, other than McDavid, Ovi had the most at 53, followed by Cooch's 47, Marchand had 46, Matthews 42, Pasta 42, the other Matthews 41, Patrick Kane was up there, the other McDavid was up there, Pastrnak, Kyle Connor, Kaprizov, Robertson. Now for goalies, obviously Vasi's gonna have the most wins by any goalie with 59. He damn near had 60 wins. That is crazy. Followed by Linus Ullmark, who had 46. Stuart Skinner was up there, Marc-Andre Fleury, Tristan Jarry, Markstrom, Connor Hellebuck, and Samsonov. And for shutouts, we basically know the deal here. Vasi at 10. Nobody's touching him. Stuart Skinner would have a pretty good year, though. 7 shutouts and 909 save percentage, as well as Igor Shesterkin, who had 7. Markstrom had 6. Peter Mrazek 5. And in the very first round of the playoffs, we are going to be playing the Dallas Stars. Now, there is no reason why this team should not go all the way and win a Stanley Cup. I mean, we won what? Like 71 games? Honestly, I have no idea what to say. We lost in the very first round to the Dallas Stars in 6 games after winning 71 games in the regular season. season. This might be the biggest choke job in NHL history, even bigger than the Boston Bruins in real life this year. And speaking of Boston, they are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup, dominating Dallas in 5 games in the Stanley Cup final. Now for the first round of the playoffs, Johnny Hockey's the only guy that's going to be point per game here, as he had 7 goals in 6 games, also 9 points. Nathan MacKinnon only 1 goal and 7 points. McDavid 3 and 3. Kachuk was up there, not a single goal though. And for our goalies, Andrei Vasilevsky was absolutely terrible. I mean, he had 1 shutout, so that definitely carried his save percentage. His save percentage is still not good, and 3 goals a game. For the entire playoff run, Bergeron is actually going to have the most points in the NHL at 26, followed by Kachuk's 24, Bertuzzi at 23, Pasta 23, Marchand 22. Charlie McAvoy was up there, Miro Heiskanen, Jake DeBrusk, and Alexander Barkov. Connor McDavid is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. A clean sweep on all the awards. Adam Fox is going to win the Norris, the Lady Byng to McDavid, and the Conn Smythe to Bergeron. Vasi is going to take home the Vezina, and the Selke is going to go to Alexander Barkov. Alright, so since we lost in the very first round to Dallas, we got dominated pretty much in 6 games. I am going to make some changes to the roster here. At least the lineup. I am going to bring up Austin Matthews to the first line with Connor McDavid, and I'm going to bring Alexander Barkov up there alongside Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews. So we have a 2-way forward, a playmaker, and a sniper. Actually, Matthew Tkachuk could go very well with Connor McDavid up there. You know what? I'm going to put Tkachuk up there. Barkov, you're going to sit as our 3rd line center here. Mark Stone's going to be on the 3rd line with Breadman, yes. Jack Eichel, you're going to play the center on the 4th line with Jamie Benn and Anze Kopitar. Kopitar, you're going to play your off wing, or actually your right wing. Jamie Benn's going to be playing the off wing. Yet again, we are going to end up finishing as the best team in the NHL. No surprise here, as we definitely should, considering our roster is one of the best ever. But we are going to finish with a record of 67, 12, and 3, good enough for 137 points, followed by the Colorado Avalanche. The Philadelphia Flyers were up there. New York was out there, Pittsburgh, and Boston. Let me just check at the bottom here. Yes, we have Chicago, Montreal, Nashville, Detroit. Where's Arizona? All right, I removed Arizona. We have taken the Arizona Coyotes place, boys. It's an annual tradition on this channel that whatever creative team I make, I'm going to swap them out for the Arizona Coyotes. Now, surprisingly, David Pastrnak is actually going to lead our team in points with 102, followed by Connor McDavid's 101. Austin Matthews had 100. Nathan MacKinnon 97. Kachuk was up there. Johnny Hockey. Breadman had 67. Barkov 55. Kind of trails off from there. Now for goals, Matthews is going to lead our team with 52 goals, followed by Passes 44. MacKinnon 43. Kachuk had 36. McDavid only had 30, so a down season by him. Jack Eichel was up there. Johnny Hockey, Breadman, and Mark Stone. Yet again, Vasi's going to be our starter. He's going to go 52, 11, and 2. Only 3 shutouts this time and decent stats, not to the level of last season, but a 914 save percentage is not terrible. The Edmonton Oilers, McDavid is going to lead the entire NHL in points with 104. Our Pasta would just come behind him, 2 points behind with 102, followed by our McDavid's 101. Ovi was up there. Matthews, McKinnon, Rantanen, Draisaitl. Trevor Zegras had a big year, 34 goals and 91 points for the cover boy. Matthew Tkachuk was up there. Patrick Kane, of course. Barkov, Breadman, Marchand, Troy Terry, Kuznetsov. For goals, oh my god, Alex Ovechkin at age 37 is going to score 64 goals, 1 below his career high, followed by McDavid's 55, Matthews 52, McKinnon 49. The other Matthews was there. Pasta had 44, McKinnon 43. Patrick Kane and Patrick Laine were also up there. Kaprizov. JVR is going to score 36 goals on the season on the Philadelphia Flyers. That, in fact, might just be a career high. It is. It's tying his career high way back in 17-18 on Toronto. He scored 30 a couple times in his career. He used to be very good. He really fell off the last couple of years. I mean, he is 33 years old, so yet again, Vasi is going to have the most wins at 52, followed by Demko's 41. Igor had 40. Carter Hart and Robin Leonard each had 40. Georgiev 39. Kemper 37. Tristan Jarry was up there, and Markstrom 36, followed by Jerry 6. Vanacek 6. Vasi had 5. The Tampa Bay Vasi, not our Vasi, of course. I know, it's pretty confusing. Igor was up there, Carter Hart, Bobrovsky, Cam Talbot, and Sorokin. And in the first round of the playoffs, we are going to be playing the San Jose Sharks, so we should definitely beat them. It's one of the worst teams in the entire NHL. Honestly, if we lose to them, I honestly don't know what to do at that point. I don't know if we will ever win a Stanley Cup if we cannot beat San Jose in the very first round. Sadly, yet again, we are not even going to make the Stanley Cup final, as we lose in the second round in Game 7 to the greatest team of all time in the Colorado Avalanche. And Colorado would make the Stanley Cup final, but they would get dominated by Boston in 5 games as the Bruins go back-to-back, winning another Stanley Cup, 2 straight. Now for the playoffs, Nathan MacKinnon would show up, 3 goals and 13 points in 11 games. Matthews was up there, Pastrnak, Breadman, Kachuk, McDavid didn't have a very good playoff run. Only 3 goals and 8 points. Johnny Hockey, Adam Fox, Drew Doughty. How did Vasi do? Vasi went 7-3-1. Not great stats overall. I don't know why we simulate so well in the regular season, but when we get to the playoffs, we just simulate like straight ass. For the entire NHL, Brad Marchand is going to have a playoff run for the ages as he leads in goals with 14 and points with 28, followed by Jack Eichel's 27, Rantanen had 25, McKinnon 24, Pasta was up there, Bergeron, Mark Stone. Our David Pastrnak is going to take home the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy, while the Art Ross is going to go to Connor McDavid and the Maurice Richard, Alex Ovechkin. Adam Fox yet again is going to win the Norris, the Lady Bing to Pasta, and the Conn Smythe to Marchand. Vasi is going to win the Vezina yet again, and the Selke is going to go to Bergeron. Yet again, we are going to finish as the best team in the NHL 3 years in a row. We three-peated, baby, not for the Stanley Cup, but for the President's Trophy. Maybe that's the reason that we're losing. We got the President's Trophy curse. Regardless, we're going to finish with a record of 66, 14, and 2, followed by the Colorado Avalanche. Toronto was up there, Boston, and Edmonton. Nathan MacKinnon is going to lead our team in points with 121, followed by Austin Matthews, 104, David Pastrnak at 84. Connor McDavid only had 36 goals and 78 points. That is a very rough season by him. Johnny Hockey had 77, Breadman 76. Barkov was up there, Kachuk, Jack Eichel, Adam Fox 43. Like usually Adam Fox absolutely dominates, is like almost a point per game in simulations, but even with like first line time, he's only putting up 6 goals and 37 assists for 43 points. For goals on our team, Matthews is going to lead the way with 50, followed by McKinnon's 45, McDavid 36, Pasta at 31, and Johnny Hockey 28. And Andrei Vasilevsky, what did he do? 50, 12, and 1. 8 shutouts, a 920 save percentage, and a 214 GAA. Very good year by Vasi. I mean, the wins are going to be always there, but the stats is what I'm really looking at here. 8 shutouts and a 920 save percentage. For the entire NHL, the GOAT, Nathan MacKinnon, is going to lead in points at 121, followed by Rantanen's 108. The other McKinnon had 107, McDavid 105, Matthews 104, Draisaitl 101. Ovi was up there, Brad Marchand, David Pastrnak, Anze Kopitar. For goals, who led it? And the GOAT, Nathan MacKinnon. Not our Nathan MacKinnon, but the Colorado Avalanche's Nathan MacKinnon would lead with 52 goals, followed by Ovi's 51, Rantanen 51, Matthews had 50, McDavid 45, Marchand was up there, Line, the other Matthews, Kopitar had 39, Evgeny Malkin was up there with 37, Kuch is 37, and JVR yet again simulating very well, 37 goals. For goalies, obviously Vasi's going to have the most wins. Allmark at 43, Samsonov was up there, Georgiev, Markstrom, and for shutouts, Vasi is going to tie for the most with Jacob Markstrom at 8, followed by Freddie Anderson 7, Hellebuck 7, Sorokin 7, Skinner had 6, Bobrovsky had 6, and in the first round of the playoffs, we are going to be playing the LA Kings. Hopefully this can be our year. We are 3 years in it now. It is time to actually make a playoff run to the Stanley Cup final at least. I'm not saying win the whole thing, but at least make the goddamn Stanley Cup final. And finally, we have made the Stanley Cup final. It's only taken us 3 years to get here, but we are here. We are up against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Can we finally go on and win a Stanley Cup with the highest paid players in the NHL? And finally, the highest paid NHL players are going to go on and win their very first Stanley Cup together as we absolutely dominate Toronto in 4 games in the Stanley Cup final. A clean sweep. It was not even close. We were by far the better team, and we should have been the better team as well, especially the last 3 seasons. Also, it took us 3 years to capture 1 Stanley Cup with this roster, even though we're like a 99 overall as a team rating. And the greatest player of all time, Nathan MacKinnon, is going to take home the Conn Smythe for the highest paid NHL players. I'd reckon he had a very good playoff run. Obviously went off. He went off enough to win the Conn Smythe. So, and there it is, the Stanley Cup being raised actually in Toronto, but not for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but instead for the North Bay highest paid NHL players in the world today. Here comes our captain, Connor McDavid. He never lifted a Stanley Cup in real life, but he's going to get to right now with the highest paid NHL players. As in year number 3, we are Stanley Cup champions. Took us 3 years to get here, but we are finally here. We're going to simulate 2 more years, boys, seeing if we can go back to back or maybe even possibly three-peat. So for the playoffs, Nathan MacKinnon is going to lead our team in points with 24, followed by Austin Matthews is 22, Johnny Hockey had 20, McDavid had 20, Pasta was up there, Kachuk, Jack Eichel, Charlie McAvoy, Breadman had 12, Barkov had 11, Drew Doughty, Adam Fox only 9 points in 20 games. That is tough. And there it is, the North Bay highest paid NHL players have finally won a Stanley Cup. Nathan MacKinnon is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy, while Colorado's Nathan MacKinnon is going to win the Maurice Richard. I know, complicated, but there's 2 versions of every single player on our team, because even though you add a player to your creative team and put them into a franchise mode, it still does not get rid of the player on their actual teams. Cale Makar is going to win the Norris, the Lady Bing to Pasta, and the Conn Smythe, of course, to Mac. Vasi, yet again for 3 years in a row, is going to win the Vezina and the Selke again to Alexander Barkov. Yet again, we are going to be the best team in the NHL, having our worst record of the video so far, going 58, 20, and 4, only 120 points on the year, but we are still going to finish as the best team in the NHL, followed by Toronto, Tampa Bay, Colorado, Boston, and Edmonton. Connor McDavid is going to lead our team in goals with 46 and points with 121, followed by Austin Matthews is 84, Nathan MacKinnon had 81, Breadman 81, Pasta 75, Barkov was, oh my god, Barkov only had 47 points. That is a big trail off from Pasternak 75. For goals on our team, the big four will be McDavid with 46, Matthews 44, McKinnon 38, and Pasta 32. Vasi is going to go 48, 15, and 3, 9 shutouts. Decent stats overall, not bad whatsoever. For the entire NHL, McDavid is going to lead in points at 121, followed by Kucherov's 118. Brad Marchand was up there with 104, Pasta had 101, Bergeron 101, Matthews 98, Ovi 97, and Leon Draisaitl 96. For goals in the NHL, Nikita Kucherov, the absolute sniper that he is going to lead with 67 goals. Actually, him and Ovi would each tie at 67. Alex Ovechkin setting a career high at age 37, followed by Connor McDavid's 57, Matthews 46, McDavid 46. Patrick Laine was up there, Matthews again, Marchand, Patrick Kane, Jack Eichel, Kyle Connor. For wins, it would go Vasi, Stuart Skinner, Allmark, and the other Vasi. And for shutouts, nobody's even close to Vasi. 3 less would be second place, and Francouz with 6. And we are going to be playing the Minnesota Wild in round number 1. Let's see if we can go back-to-back, boys. We got 2 more years to simulate here. Hopefully, we can three-peat. And yet again, we have made the Stanley Cup final. This time, we are up against the Boston Bruins. Can we go on and capture our second Stanley Cup of the video, going back-to-back? And yet again, the highest-paid NHL players are going to go on and win their second straight Stanley Cup of the video, going back-to-back as we dominate Boston in the Stanley Cup final. A clean sweep. We beat them up in 4 games. It was not even close. Finally, we have found a way to win in the playoffs, and nobody's stopping us now. 2 straight Stanley Cups. We are going for 3, baby. And the greatest player of all time in Connor McDavid is going to take home the Conn Smythe for the highest paid NHL players. 97, but he is a 99 overall. Connor McDavid, baby. And yet again, we're going to have to raise the Stanley Cup in an away barn, as we are in the TD Garden. I did throw on our home jerseys, though, boys, because I do not know if we will win a Stanley Cup next year. We might not get the chance to see it all close up in action, but here it is, and here he is, Connor McDavid, lifting the Stanley Cup for the second time in his career. Won it last season with this team, and now won it again. Never got any with the Oilers, but he's got 2 now with the highest paid NHL players, the money bags. All right, boys, now that we won back-to-back Stanley Cups, it is time to go for number 3. We are going to go 3 for 3, trying to three-peat here in the video. Connor McDavid is going to absolutely carry for the playoffs, 11 goals, leading our team, and obviously leading our team in points with 37, followed by Pastas 28, Breadman had 25, a very good playoff run by him. McKinnon had 24 and 10 goals, Matthews 17, Tkachuk 17, Johnny Hockey had 16, Eichel 15. Over the course of the playoffs, Vasi actually was not very good. He only had 1 shutout, not great stats overall, but that does not matter as we did win the Stanley Cup. Nikita Kucherov is going to win the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard, and the Hart Trophy, while McDavid is going to win the Art Ross. Victor Hedman is going to win the Norris, the Lady Byng Kuch, and the Conn Smythe to McDavid. Vasi is going to win the Vezina yet again, 4 years in a row, and the Selke again to Alexander Barkov. Now, at the end of the final season of the video, obviously we're still going to be the best team in the NHL. We've been all 5 years of the video so far, as we go 63, 14, and 5, followed by the Colorado Avalanche. Seattle Kraken came in 3rd place. Carolina was up there, and Florida. Yet again, Connor McDavid is going to go absolutely insane as he scores 139 points, 139 points, leading our team by far, followed by Austin Matthews 92, McKinnon had 82, Breadman 81, followed by Matthews who had 92, McKinnon had 82, Breadman 81, Pasta was up there, Barkov had 74, Tkachuk 65, Johnny Hockey 64, Jack Eichel was up there, kind of trails off after that. Now let's see what Vasi did. Vasi went 53, 10, and 3, 7 shutouts, decent stats, not great, but not terrible either. Yet again, McDavid is going to have the most points in the NHL. It was not even close at 139, followed by William Nylander, who had 103, McKinnon 101, Jason Robertson 97, Mitch Marner was up there with 97 as well, Sidney Crosby 94, Matthews 93, Pasta 87, Rantanen was up there, Elias Pettersson, Breadman. Now for goals, Toronto's Austin Matthews is going to lead in the NHL with 56, followed by McKinnon's 51, R. Matthews had 49, McDavid 48, Kucherov 41, Robertson 41, Pasta was up there, Laine, Brad Marchand, Alex Ovechkin had a pretty down year compared to the the other years of the video. Now for goalies, obviously Vasi's going to dominate. 53 wins, leading in wins and leading in shutouts. Actually, no, Linus Ullmark is going to have the most shutouts. He would have 8 shutouts for the entire season, followed by John Gibson 6, Igor 6, and Marc-Andre Fleury 5. And for the playoffs, in the very first round, we are going to be playing the Winnipeg Jets. And for a third year in a row, we are going to be in the Stanley Cup final, this time playing the New York Rangers. Can we go on and capture our third Stanley Cup of the video, three-peating in the process? And we are actually going to end up losing to the New York Rangers in the Stanley Cup final in 6 games. It was not really close, if I'm being honest. I mean, they were up 3-1 in the series. We had a very big game number 5, but overall, they were the better team by far. And that is very surprising considering the players that we have on this team. We are not going to be able to three-peat, unfortunately. Igor Shesterkin is going to take home the Conn Smythe for the New York Rangers, so maybe he played absolutely insane and was on his head, or stood on his head, I should say. But overall, I'm very disappointed. I thought we were going to three-peat. We could not get it done, sadly. And we also have never won a Stanley Cup on home ice, so that is also disappointing. There's the greatest captain in the world in Jacob Trouba coming to collect the Stanley Cup for the very first time in his career. Sadly, it had to be with them beating us in the Stanley Cup final, but 2 Stanley Cups in 5 years is not terrible, I guess. Now for the playoffs, Connor McDavid is going to do his thing. 11 goals and 23 points, leading our team in both categories. Nathan McKinnon was pretty good as well. Austin Matthews had 19, passed to 16, Eichel 15, Barkov 13. Connor McDavid is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy, while Austin Matthews is going to win the Maurice Richard. Quinn Hughes is going to take home the Norris, the Lady Bing to McDavid, and the Conn Smythe, obviously, to Igor. The Vezina is going to go to Linus Ullmark, and the Selke will go to Bergeron. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot, especially with the YouTube algorithm. Sometimes my videos get absolutely lost, so if you enjoyed it, like it, subscribe, do what you got to do. If you didn't enjoy it, then you don't have to do absolutely nothing. So we did it, boys. We got this team a Stanley Cup, actually 2 Stanley Cups during the video. Unfortunately, we could not three-peat in the end, but overall, it was a pretty fun video to make. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.
Also, Connor McDavid is the GOAT of the NHL. Fuck Nathan McKinnon, fuck Wayne Gretzky, fuck Mario Lemieux, fuck Connor Bedard. Wait, what did I say?